Hello folks, this is Sullla once again. You're listening to another video for League of Legends, this one featuring Jayce. Yes, Jayce is the newest champion for League of Legends as I record this. This video is going to be from his point of view, and he's going to be played in this game by VarisNox. This is taken from one of our Tuesday YouTube night custom games, so alongside Varis is myself, Sullla, playing as Taric with the pink Taric skin, Speaker playing as Orianna, Akosups playing as Misfortune, and Doombrian playing as Shyvana. On the other team we have Diamond Aaron, I think that is, excuse me, playing as Taric, Drama Easy playing as Kennen, Fallen Asylum playing as Draven, Feroza playing as Nautilus, and Eon Master playing as Karthus. So hopefully we should be just about done with the loading screen here. Hopefully I timed it correctly. There was, for some reason, this replay had like a super long loading screen, and I think I've been able to catch only just the end of it. So hopefully we should be ready to get started with this match, and we'll be able to talk about Jayce, and there we go. So now we're in the game for the first time. Alright, so Jayce, again, newest champion, has just come out. I'm sure people want to have a chance to see some Jayce gameplay, and fortunately Varis was able to play Jayce and have a pretty solid game with him and a pretty solid demonstration of some of his skills. So the big thing with Jayce is he is probably closest to Nidalee in terms of being a champion that's already in League of Legends, just in the sense that he can swap back and forth between two different forms. His weapon basically has two different forms. He has the hammer form, which you see right there, and he also has a cannon form as well. So one of them is melee and one of them is ranged. And again, the comparisons to Nidalee are sort of the best that I can make. The difference there is that Jayce is more of a bruiser. Nidalee is supposed to be sort of an AP champ, someone who does more magic damage. Jayce is more of a physical bruiser type champ. It looks like the best lane for him to be in is in top lane, and there you go. Get a nice view of Jayce as he switches back and forth from the hammer to the cannon. Really feels like his best role is in top lane, because he deals pretty well with a lot of the other bruisers that generally go to top lane. He has a lot of versatility, he has a lot of utility, because he technically has 6 different skills instead of the normal 4, depending on what form he's in. And in particular, depending on whether you use the cannon or whether you use the hammer, he can be skilled in a whole bunch of different ways. He can also be built in a lot of different ways. So I kind of had the feeling that we're going to see him in competitive play once people get a chance to get more used to him and get in some practice. Just because he offers a lot of utility to a team, he's very versatile. You could put him in the jungle as well if you really wanted to. I think he's not quite as good of a jungler, but he could fulfill that role. And since you can build him and skill him in a lot of different ways, he can be built to sort of counter a lot of other top lane champions. And he feels pretty strong. I mean, he's only been out a couple days now. I've seen a couple pro players playing him in top lane, and they seem to be doing relatively well. So he seems to be a pretty strong option. Again, I feel like as one of those high skill cap champions, once people have the chance to play him more, they're going to find that he's pretty good. In the past, most champions that have been introduced that have a whole bunch of different skills, champions like Nidalee, champions like Lee Sin, they've often been kind of weak when people first started playing them, but once people got a sense of how to play them, they usually ended up being pretty strong. So anyway, let's run through, look at some of the abilities here on Jayce. So his passive is, let's see, his passive is he gets a slight movement speed boost every time that he casts Transform. That's his ultimate, allows him to change. The other unique thing about him is his ult is available at level 1, so you can change forms at level 1. There's no costs no mana, it's just a cooldown. The cooldown starts at 6 seconds. I believe it goes down as you get more points in the skill. So you might say, well wait, if he has his ult from level 1, what does he get from using his ultimate? Well, he gets, I believe that the cooldown goes down with more points in the skill. Alright, so let's look at these actual skills. We'll start with this Q. Currently we are in cannon form, so when you're in cannon form, the Q seems to be his best skill when you're in cannon form. Fires an orb of electricity, detonates on hitting a target, deals physical damage to all enemies in the area of the explosion. So you can see the range indicator there. Decent range, I wouldn't say exceptional, pretty average, but it's basically just a straight line shot. And when you're in cannon form, that's what it does. So we'll see if Varis uses it. There it is. There is the cannon shot right there. What's it called? Shock Blast. Now the cannon blast, the Shock Blast, does have synergy with his E skill in cannon form. So in cannon form, this is acceleration gate. Deploys a gate for 4 seconds, increases the movement speed of any ally who passes through it, and increases the missile speed and range if you fire shock blast through it. So the basic combo is you use E and Q together, put down the gate, and then fire a shock blast through it. So there we go. You can see increases the speed and the range of the projectile when you do that. Although my understanding is the better way to use this skill is actually to shoot your Q first and then put down the gate after it, as it doesn't telegraph what you're doing. Anyway, we do have a jungle gank coming in. Here comes Feroza, the jungle Nautilus player right here. That's a nice dredge line into the brush, hitting VarisNox. Despite that blind vision, not having vision, Feroza's very low. Is Varus going to get this kill? No. Flashes after it to try to get the kill. Did not get it. So Feroza is going to pick up first blood there. A nice gank, like I said, or was trying to say as I stumbled over myself talking. The dredge line into the brush was blind, and he still managed to hit it anyway. So double buff Nautilus coming in, and a nice gank there. Meanwhile, down in bottom lane, I am paired with a Kosups, and we actually did manage to get a kill on Fallen Asylum's Draven. Since I was actually in this game, I can tell you how that happened. We were able to bait out the exhaust from the enemy team's Taric. It is actually a Taric versus Taric mirror match. We were able to bait out the exhaust from Diamond Aaron a little bit early, a little bit ahead of time. And then in the fight the fight that happened right there, their Taric player stunned me, which allowed me to use my stun on the enemy Draven. And so with exhaust and with a stun on the AD carry, that was a pretty easy fight for us to win. So anyway, that was what was going on there. Alright, so let's see. Varus has gone back to base. He's picked up a Doran's Blade, some more health pots, a Sight Ward. Makes sense to protect against those ganks. And he is a little bit behind in lane right now, but it still is pretty close. 18 to 16 actually, so no, he's not really that behind right there. So anyway, that is a little bit about the cannon form. Let's look at the hammer form right now, that's what VarisNox is in right now. Now, as far as the hammer form goes, this is sort of the bruiser form for Jace, and in the hammer form, if you're going to be using hammer form a lot, the best skill that you want to max is his E skill, his Thundering Blow. See what it does here? Deals base damage with AD scaling, plus 8% of the enemy's maximum health as magic damage. So that's why you want to level up his E if you're going to be in hammer form a lot, because it has that, well, now we're in cannon form so we can't see it, but deals a percentage of the enemy's health. So that's what makes that skill so good in the hammer form. So that's sort of the general word, is you want to level up your E if you're going to be in hammer form a lot. If you're going to be in cannon form, it's more Q and W are pretty good. So let's check out what the W is while we're here. Again, we're in cannon form for the moment. There is a gank in mid where our team went 1 for 1. This form gives you a burst of attack speed, increases attack speed to maximum for 3 attacks. So you fire 3 attacks really quickly in the hammer form when you use your W. So I don't think Varus has used this skill yet, or if I did, I haven't seen it, but it fires 3 attacks really fast while in cannon form. Anyway, there is the EQ combo once again. Now we're in the hammer form, and let's see, and yes, the cooldown went down. Actually, no, the cooldown didn't go down. I assumed that it was the cooldown went down. Maybe I should have checked this first. Anyway, the other thing that the ultimate does is, if you see okay, it looks like when you put more points in the ult, it increases the passive effect instead. Okay, so I was incorrect on that. Notice that when you transform, next attack in hammer stance right after you transform deals additional magic damage. And you get an armor and magic resistance debuff when you transform in the opposite direction. I hope I explained that correctly. So there is a passive effect right after you transform. You get movement speed boost, and you get another effect. And it looks like that's what increases when you put more points into your ultimate. So anyway, what Varus is doing is he's leveling up his Shock Blast, which makes sense because he's been in the cannon form more often. So again, increases the damage, increases the physical damage by leveling up the skill. And so he can use it to just sort of poke away. And right there is the Shock Blast, and that actually did hit, I believe, because Drama Easy is pretty low right there. So again, QE is your basic combo when you are playing in the cannon form. So Varus has just been sitting back, poking away, and right now he's going into sort of a soft zone here, making it so if Kennen wants to come out, he's going to have to take harass. And Kennen, in all honesty, since this lane is pushing the opposite direction, should just go back to base right now. Kennen's already getting denied. He needs to go back to get health, and shouldn't be. There's a missed Q right there. Shouldn't be hanging around on no life, because he's not really last hitting minions anyway. So you might as well just go back to base and get the full health refresh. Anyway, what happened there was a fight down here in bottom lane, and what actually happened was Fallen Asylum picked me off with his ultimate, with his global ult. I was quite low. I ran back to tower, and he fired his ult from like here, and it hit me and came back again, and I could have dodged it, but I didn't do a very good job of that. Anyway, Taric is low. Is this going to be a kill? I can't remember if this was or not during the game. Looks like it is not going to be one. Looks like they're all going to escape from that. Draven is unhappy about something. I'm not sure. Maybe he missed a kill there. I can't quite remember. Anyway, there is the combination again. You see the Q and the E, and Kennen is really being forced off the minion line. So like I said, Kennen probably should have just gone back, but instead he's being zoned, and I'm assuming he's going to go back right now, because right now it's 57 to 30, so that's almost 2 to 1 in terms of minion kills. And Varys is just sitting back, farming the creep wave, and keeping Kennen off it. Probably should push to tower if Kennen is actually backed. So we'll see if that happens right now. There is the transformation into the hammer form. Again, when you transform into the hammer form, let's see, gives first attack deals bonus damage. Alright, haven't really seen too much of hammer form, so I'm going to try to go through the other hammer skills here. The Q in hammer form is a repositioning skill right there. You see, leap to the skies, jump up into the air, deals physical damage and slows. So it's an attack that gives Jace a little bit extra utility. He can jump. You know, he can actually jump over a wall if he has a target to jump to, and he can jump away again if he has a target to jump to. His W, passive, gives mana back per strike. Active creates an aura that deals magic damage over time, and it's actually pretty high. The damage on this is pretty high. So, again, W is not a bad skill either. It's just people generally I've seen tending to max either E and Q, either E or Q first. However, W is not a bad skill in and of itself, so again, you really can skill Jace in just about any order that you want, and a lot of it will depend on the matchup, what you want to do. So if you're going to be in bruiser form, in hammer form, this is really not a bad skill. The base damage on it is very, very high, and the mana cost is quite low too. So anyway, we're back in cannon form right now. Again, remember, every time that you switch, you do get a slight movement speed boost. It's relatively minor, but it can help you run back to lane faster. Against Cannon, it's hard to say which form is necessarily better here. The Cannon does allow Varys to poke at range, so I think that's why he's been using that a little bit more often. Hammer form, more of a bruiser build. Anyway, here we have a gank coming in. We see Cannon ult coming in. We see Nautilus ult. There is a flash out of that. They did not really stack their stuns as well as they should have. The Cannon stun and the, let's see, is the Karthus ult going to finish this off? No, not going to finish this one off. Again, the Cannon's ultimate from Drama Easy and the Nautilus ultimate from Feroza, they kind of stacked the doubles. They kind of got both stuns on top of one another instead of spreading them out. One of the reasons why that didn't go quite as well as planned. Anyway, we have a gank in bot, but Fallen Asylum is going to pick up that kill onto our Shyvana player, who I believe is Doom Brian. So that ends up being a 1-for-1 in that exchange, which is a little unfortunate for us, but nicely played by Draven in the bottom lane. Doom Brian saying that was poorly played. Anyway, so back to base right now. Varys has picked up another ward, has picked up the Mercury Treads, and has got the double Doran's Blades. So how do you build Jace is sort of the question. Well, the things that I've been hearing thus far is because he has a lot of AD scaling, he works in some ways similar to Riven. We actually were able to dive the tower there and pick up that kill. The thing that I've been hearing is he works somewhat similarly to Riven in that because he has a lot of AD scaling, it works to build a lot of AD, but the other thing that people seem to be saying, which is not like Riven, is Trinity Force seems to be a very key item on Jace, just because he has, wow, that's a nice combo right there. Just because he has a lot of different, he has sort of so much utility and he has a lot of different things going on, and because Trinity Force gives him a little bit of everything, it seems to be a very useful item on him, since again he's sort of in this at times an AD, at times an AD carry, at times a tanky bruiser, and right there Varys just swapped back and forth, but into the cannon, into the hammer form right there. I didn't see exactly the order. Looked like he used Q. Right there, gonna get stunned, and there is that lightning field around him. Yeah, lightning field's the name of the skill. So anyway, sort of the emerging consensus is a couple Doran's Blades, not bad. Get your boots, depending on the matchup. Mercury Treads for this matchup against Kennen. And then build Trinity Force, and then go from there. Anyway, here comes the gank again, and wow, Nautilus has been top an awful lot right here. So, looks like Varys is going to be okay right here. Looks like he's going to be able to escape. There comes Nautilus ult again. Gonna get the knockup. There is the dredge line. How is this going to go? Nope, actually not going to be okay. Nautilus ult used again. So, well, Varus is getting camped pretty hard here in top lane. They've been coming up top. Nautilus has come up top and ulted twice now. So that was Kennen ult and Nautilus ult right there. So nicely done by the other team though. Flash was down. Would have escaped from that gank if Flash had been up. So like I said, Trinity Force into either... You can go Bloodthirster, Last Whisper after that if you want more of a Glass Cannon build, or Standard Bruiser from there if you want more survivability. If you want to start stacking health or magic resistant armor, depends on what you want to do. So sort of the way that we've been seeing, at least very early on. Now because Nautilus was up in top lane, we're free to come down here and claim this dragon. Again, Nautilus was top, so means that he is not in the dragon area, so means we're going to make the other team, we're going to punish the other team for spending so much time camping top lane by coming and grabbing this dragon. So there we go. Going to take that one. I was tanking it, and that was pretty easy to grab, again because Nautilus had been top. One thing I do like is in this newest patch, it does tell you who killed the dragon, which team it was, and it also gives you a timer. See, it tells you if you have the timers enabled, 1406, so that means you can say 2006 for the dragon right there. We have a fight going on over here. Speaker is able to get the kill on Karthus. Speaker must be very low because he's being chased by Feroza right now. But looks like he's going to make it out of there. So nicely done there as well. Alright, again, Varus has leveled up his Q first. You can see what damage that deals. Looks like the AD scaling is not particularly great on this skill though. 113 AD, only 38 physical damage. Meanwhile, over here he's been leveling up E with second priority. 3 points in E. Let's see, it looks like, what does this do? Does this have any scaling? This doesn't have any scaling in cannon form, it looks like, only in hammer form, but it's quite good in hammer form. So again, really up to you how you want to play this. And then he still only has 1 point in his W. Let's see, you're going to need to come down here and ward, I'm assuming. There goes the ward from Kennen, and there goes a ward from VarisNox's Jayce as well. Let's see, in terms of how this lane overall is going, yeah, so right there, again, really has just been using that Q and E combo more than anything else. Now we're in hammer form yet again. There's, let's see, there's the lightning field, there's the To the Skies, and again, you can see, yeah, well, I was trying to highlight it. You can see the scaling on that E is really quite high. It now deals 14% of maximum health with 3 points in the skill. Here it is, here we go. So you can see 14% of enemy maximum health as magic damage. Also knocks them back a short distance. So this is really his best bruiser skill because it deals a percentage of enemy health. Works really well against enemy bruisers because it's, again, it's percentage based. There you go, 14%. So really quite good in that form. And let's see, yeah, so again, I was wrong about what I said earlier. Again, I'm not that familiar with Jayce either, as we have yet another gank coming into top lane right here. So here comes the Nautilus ult. There's a flash to get the knockback right here. Kennen's going to ult. Varus going to use the hammer to knock him back. That's nicely played. Dredgeline is going to miss. Varus is running away. He's going to use his hammer for that movement speed boost, and looks like he's going to dodge this gank. So once again, I mean, top lane really getting camped hard in this game, but that time did have flash up, was able to escape. Really nice use of the Thundering Blow. When Kennen popped his ult, just used the hammer to knock him back. It's basically like a Lee Sin ultimate. Lee Sin Dragon Kick can just knock them back. So was able to escape from that. And again, they've been using Kennen ult plus Nautilus ult in top over and over again. So this is actually pretty well played to have only died 2 times. You might say, oh, 0-2, you know, it's a bad game. It's like, well, no, not really. I mean, winning in farm, 98 minion kills to 81. Kennen probably has about the same amount of gold because Kennen does have a kill and an assist. But again, Nautilus using his ult pretty much only in top lane to try to get kills, not anywhere else on the map. And that the fact that there hasn't been much pressure in other lanes is allowing us to win other lanes. For example, Speaker 2-1, 116 against Karthus 0-2, 82. And we've snowballed out in front in bottom lane as well. Kosup's 3-0, 137. Fallen Asylum 2-2, 94 CS. So Nautilus is down here, but again, he doesn't have his ult. We actually, I don't think we actually didn't know that, which is why Kosup's was flashing away there. I'm going to use my exhaust on Fallen Asylum because Kosup's was pretty low, and I wanted to make sure that he didn't get the kill right there. So anyway, Nautilus coming down bot, but you know, didn't have ult because he just used it. Anyway, I was talking about this before. Again, I kind of left off. What more points in the ult does, it doesn't decrease the cooldown. It's a flat 6 seconds. You're seeing a minor decrease in the cooldown because Varus has points in the defensive tree with cooldown reduction per level, that mastery. What it does is the passive effects for switching are different. So next attack and hammer stance deals an additional 100 magic damage when you transform into the other form, and then it's an armor and MR reduction when you switch into the cannon form. So that's what that does. More points in the ult increase that passive effect. So again, I probably should have checked this, but I myself have never played Jayce, and Varys actually had never played Jayce before this game either, not even a bot game. So not terribly familiar with this champion, but again, that's part of the fun of new champions, is trying to figure out how they work, what they do, what they're good at, what they're bad at, what sort of skills you should use, that sort of thing. So Varys has gotten the Phage. Again, I believe he's building this towards Trinity Force. Phage feels like a good item on Jayce, as it is for most sort of bruiser champions. Health and armor. Wait, no, not. Does it have armor? No, health and AD. That's what it is. Don't know why I thought armor for a second there. Health, AD, and gives you that chance to slow. So all useful stuff. And right now, the reason why Varys is playing more cautiously, he doesn't have a ward. Unless he sees Nautilus, he has to assume that there's a gank of some kind coming up here in top lane. So it has to play defensively. Again, also does not have flash up either. So until he sees Nautilus somewhere on the map, has to play defensively. The good news is this lane is pushing towards his tower, so he can afford to sit back and not have to play not have to worry too much. Anyway, right there you can see just how much damage Kennen was taking there. One combo QE and then W for the attack speed boost, getting in a few extra autos. And right now, let's see, did we see Nautilus on the map somewhere or not? Yes, see, we see Nautilus down here. We know that he's down here. That's why Varys can go and play aggressively in top lane. We can see there's a fight right there. Nautilus flashes over the wall. Unfortunately, Shyvana misses with Doombrine's own ult, so not going to be able to get that. We really wanted to kill Nautilus because he has an Oracle and he's been clearing wards. Meanwhile, Speaker is going to kill the tower in middle lane, and now there's a fight going on between these two. Let's see if someone is going to fall here. Ignites coming out on both sides. Let's see, is someone going to drop? I feel like somebody is going to have to fall in this fight right here. And it is Speaker's going to come out on top. So now we'll probably see that Karthus ult. Are we going to get it? No, here goes Varys, goes in, and is going to pick off that kill. Nicely done. That was to the skies for the gap closer right there, leaping onto the enemy Kennen, and then immediately followed by Thundering Blow. So to the skies, leap on top of someone, and slows. Actually, I didn't see that before. It slows as well. That's a big deal. So this is the initiation for the hammer form. Jumps onto someone and slows, and then immediately followed by Thundering Blow. You can see the damage deals 20% of enemy maximum health. Wow, that's going to get nerfed at some point. There's no way that doesn't get nerfed at some point. I'm just seeing that for the first time. So yes, a maxed E deals 20% of maximum health. Wow, that is pretty incredible to be on only a 9-second cooldown. Anyway, down here, we're trying to claim Dragon, and we're trying to get this. Here comes Nautilus as well. It's very low, so we are going to take the Dragon. That did come out on our side, but now the enemy team is initiating on us, and we did just take a lot of damage from this Dragon fight. We're going to pick up the kill onto Doombrine's Tark. Excuse me. Eon Master's Karthus is coming in behind, so we need to be careful. And Kennen's down here as well, so they actually have all 5 members of the team. Varys is now going to enter the fight as well. Going to look to chase that, but you know what? We've taken a lot of damage from Dragon. Not really a good fight to continue, so we're just going to back out. We got Dragon, we got a kill. That was a good trade for us, a good engagement. And now we can head back and buy. You can see Varys is sitting on quite a bit of gold. I don't think he has quite enough for a Trinity Force here. We'll see what he ends up getting, but he does have quite a bit of gold. Let's see what he picks up. I'm not exactly sure. Gets the Sheen, and I'm assuming a ward or two here. Perhaps. Well, I guess we'll find out. I have not watched this replay. I was in this game, but obviously I wasn't paying attention. Oh no, he's going to sell the Doran's Blade and go for a Trinity. He has almost enough for Trinity. Trinity is... Oh no, he doesn't. 14.95. Wait, what was that? That was really weird. Did he sell a Doran's Blade and then rebuy a Doran's Blade? Did I miss something there? Not exactly sure what that was in terms of buying. Maybe that was a misclick, or not exactly sure what happened. Oh well. In any case, does have Sheen as well as the Phage right now, and you can see why. The Sheen would work well on Jayce, because he has all of these different abilities that he switches back and forth with fairly frequently. There's the Lightning field. Again, this could be a good farming tool as well, particularly if you're going to build him as like a split pusher. You could max this first, and you can see how much magic damage it deals per second. the base damage on this is a pretty good skill. So you could use that, you could max that, and you could use it to push. You could be kind of like Shyvana with the way that her own W skill works, and her what is it? I can't think of the name of the skill off the top of my head, but her burnout, that's what it's called. Her W, her burnout. So you could potentially go that way as well. Anyway, our team is in pretty good shape. We're ahead 9-6 in terms of kills. We've gotten all 3 of the outer towers, so that's quite a bit of global gold. We also did take that first dragon, and if you look at the overall scoreboard, you can just see in farm 156, 167, 183 to 107, 124, 123. So you can see we're clearly winning in the farm battle as well. Over here, there's a bit of an engage coming in. It looks like a bad fight. It looks like I'm going to die. Their team is coming after me, but right here, I'm going to flash over the wall. A Kosubs gets off a really nice ultimate right there. Then Speaker comes in. He's going to go in for cleanup duty. We have the Karthus ult. Is that going to finish anyone? No, not quite. We're really trying to get Nautilus, but Feroza was able to escape. Meanwhile, we do catch up and pick off Taric behind the fight. So that was a really good fight for us. It looked like initially we had gotten caught, that myself and our Misfortune player, Akosup, looked like we had both gotten caught, but we were able to escape out of that. And then the enemy team had used so much stuff trying to kill us that they were prime pickings for Speaker playing as Orianna and Doombrine playing as Shyvana coming in there. So Varys is just free farming the lane right now because Kennen's not up here. Kennen is pretty far behind in terms of minion kills, as only has 60. He's covering the lane in mid, so he's doing his job covering that lane. But that does mean that Varys can just sit up here and free farm. Actually missing some of this CS. Actually not doing a good job at all. Wow. Sorry about that. Missed that whole wave. Missed like 4 in a row. That's not so great. Anyway, no ward coverage, so just have to be a little bit careful. We were going over to check their red here right now, because we wanted to see if it was up. Unfortunately, it is not. So now we're starting to get out of that laning phase, starting to get into more of that team fighting phase right here, looking to come in here. We see that Feroza is back behind the rest of the team. Varys is going to pick off that kill. I'm not exactly sure which skill it was. And right here, we're going to be able to get the kill on Karthus as well. So that is turning into a good fight for us. Doombrine is very low though, so we have to be a little bit careful about how we do this. Still, we're chasing after Diamond Aaron right here. There is the jump, there is the hit with the hammer, and Varys is going to finish off that kill as well. Now we're continuing trying to chase down that fight. There is the EQ combo in the cannon form, switching back and forth. And Kosups is going to pick that one off as well. So again, Varys going back and forth between the two forms for that movement speed boost, and again getting that passive effect, extra magic damage in hammer form, and in the cannon form it's an armor and magic resist debuff. So again, switching back and forth to be able to use both of those things on the ultimate. So pretty well played fight there. If you saw the way that Varys initiated onto Taric right there, he used his Q. Again, I can't show up because he's in the cannon form now, not the hammer form, but he used his Q, the to the skies, to jump onto Taric, immediately followed by the E, the hammer blow for the knockback, and then that was enough to, and I believe that actually his W, the lightning field, actually got the kill right there. So nice use of skills in that last fight, and you saw there started out 0-2, but his score is starting to look a lot better right now. There is the Trinity Force, and then going into Hex Drinker. Again, Hex Drinker wouldn't be a great item in choice in every game, but if you look at who the enemy team, we have Kennen and Karthus, double AP, and then the jungler is Nautilus. Nautilus deals almost entirely magic damage. So their team is very heavy on magic damage. Draven is the only one dealing physical damage, and Draven is a little bit underfarmed because we've been able to shut down Draven in lane, in large part because Diamond Aaron is new. You can see here is new with Taric, and we're saying, you know, Taric actually is a difficult support to play, which he is. He's one of the harder supports, I believe. Soraka is very easy to play. Taric is not so easy. You have to know sort of when to use your stun, when to use your shatter. A good or a bad stun can completely break a team fight. So, like I said, Taric is not the easiest one to play, and that's one of the reasons why we came out ahead in bottom lane, is because Diamond Aaron, a new Taric player, not as much experience. Anyway, though, so now has a Trinity Force, has all those really nice stats. Again, a nice item on bruisers generally, but seems to fit well on Jace. Right here we see Nautilus is in the area, looking maybe to initiate there. Varys misses his Q in cannon form. Getting in some nice poke though. I'm going to use my Taric stun on Feroza right here. Now we're just trying to finish this off. Doombrine is going to fly in over the wall, and that is going to pick up that kill. So that's going to clear us to take this tower without too much trouble. So a nice use of everybody on the team kind of stacking their skills right there. We had let's see, we had a little bit of damage from Varys right there. We're going to get, here is the lightning shot, or what is it called? Shock blast through the acceleration gate. But right here, we're going to look to force this Baron instead. Why? We just killed their jungler. That means they have no smite. So as long as we don't miss smite, we should be free to take this one. So we should be able to get this without too much trouble. We also are stronger. 16-6 means that we're way ahead in this game. So we want to take our advantage. We want to cash in our advantage and use it to grab a global objective like Baron. So there we go. We're going to grab that one. And from here, we can either look to go back and buy, or we can push. It's really a team decision at this point in time. And it looks like, let's see, Speaker's going to grab his blue. And let's see, what are we going to do here? It looks like we're going to just go ahead and push right now and see if we can get into the base. Draven is picking up his red, so we can try to make a move on that potentially. Our team is pretty split though. Anyway, here we go. I mean, like, we can go ahead and initiate this, but we don't have numbers again because there are only 3 of us here, and their team had 5. Oh no, they had 4 right there, and they had Draven off in top lane. So that wouldn't have been a good battle for us to pick. Anyway, we're gonna take their blue. Draven did take their red. While we're here, we can go ahead and grab the dragon as well. And it looks like we're going to set up to try to push bottom lane. We've got the 2 outer towers in top. We've got the 2 outer towers in mid. So that means this tower right here is our next objective. We'd love to force a fight here out away from their base. Again, breaking these base towers are always relatively difficult. So it makes more sense for us to go and try to force a fight here at this outer tower where their defenses are weaker. And if nothing else, we can get the global gold for picking up that tower. Right here, I didn't have any wards on me, so I was running up here to be the human ward, to just be in the brush to give us vision on if the enemy team was coming. And I did that, but it was a little bit dangerous, so it would be nice if I had some wards, but I went for the Aegis instead. I bought the Aegis. I only had enough gold to pick up 1 ward. Alright, anyway, so now we're looking to push this. We'd love to fight this. There is the acceleration gate. And look, I get this huge movement speed buff for running through the gate. I was like, oh, I didn't think I was going to be moving that fast. So I get caught in the middle of the enemy team right there. We're focusing. Varys is going to pick off 1 kill right there on the Karthus. Still chasing. We're going to turn and try to hit Kennen next. There is a double kill. Can't see exactly what skill is used on this. I'm very low, but I'm not quite going to drop here. To this particular engage. There is Varys, and again, where is that Karthus ult? A lot of us are very low. Looks like Karthus ult was either already used or did not come off in that fight. So we're able to go in and we're able to win that team fight. Wasn't able to see, just too much going on. Wasn't able to see everything that Jayce was using in that particular battle, but Varys was actually able to pick up a double kill in that fight. Anyway, right there, slow onto Taric. Are we going to be able to chase this one down? There's the movement speed boost, and oh, there we go, going to get it. VarisNox initiating with To the Skies, followed by Thundering Blow. Taric got extremely low, and then I actually got the kill as Taric with Dazzle, the rare Dazzle kill. You don't see that very often, but that actually was a kill with Taric E, his little Dazzle skill that deals no damage, because their own Taric was very, very low. So their team's reviving. You can see everybody's back up except for Taric, so now's the time to back out. We got an inhib. That's what we want to get on that push. We want to get that bottom tower and an inhib. Now we just back out. Don't want to take any risks. Go back by. Fall sitting on a lot of gold because we just had that push. There's the Maul of Malmortius. Again, wouldn't be a great item build in every game, but it is a good buy for this game because their team is so heavy on magic damage. So you can see that passive gets the magic resist, gets the attack damage, gets the shield, and then the unique passive, where you get extra AD as your health goes down. So it's not a perfect item for Jayce, but it was a good item in this particular game. How's Karthus supposed to deal with that Orianna shield at the start? Yeah, farm. That's it. I was going to say exactly that. Akosop says the right answer. It's like, well, you don't try to kill Orianna, you just try to farm. That's always your goal as Karthus. Your goal is just, get farmed up, get super strong. Doesn't really matter. The goal is not really to get kills in lane, just to farm yourself up. Anyway, you can see what everybody has. Our team is now well and truly in control of this game. Akosop's 906 having a great Misfortune game. Look at all those items. Went for the Wriggles build for lane dominance. It seems to have worked out in this game. Now we're just looking to push. We just need Speaker to get here, and we can push one of these towers. Mid seems as good as any. Again, that bottom lane is down. No tower here. So their team's going to have to deal with that push eventually. So we can just siege up one of these towers. And mid is as good of a choice as top lane for our purposes. So now we just have to be a little bit careful about how we do this. There's the poke. Didn't deal that much damage right now. Does feel like that skill falls off a little bit as the game goes on. But again, we're just going to try to look to get this initiation right there. Speaker getting a ton of damage. I'm going to go in. There's the stun on Fallen Asylum. He's the only one I'm concerned about. It's the only one I'm looking to kill. Varus is trying to get the kill. Kennan's stun, though, going to come out right here. And Fallen Asylum is going to get away. So now we're going to turn and focus the rest of the team. That lightning field dealing a lot of damage. And I think I don't know if it was the lightning field or if it was one of the other skills that's going to get that. Oh, almost picking that off with the shock blast, but not quite able to get the kill on the Nautilus right there. So Varus is going to grab another kill in that fight as well. It was either his lightning field or it was one of his strikes with the hammer, but in any case, picks that one up. We were not quite able to get Fallen Asylum, even though I tried to use everything. Was trying to use everything to get that kill because Fallen Asylum is the most dangerous member of their team. Does have that Infinity Edge, I guess, and Karthus. I guess, and Eon Masters, Karthus as well. But we did manage to pick off Karthus in that fight. And now we're just going to rotate up here to top lane. This tower is low. It's being pushed by the minions. Get the third inhib. And at that point, we can just follow in behind the super minions and finish off the game. It's really just a matter of waiting for the minions to come in, for them to keep pushing these towers. Minions starting to flood in from bottom lane, then they're going to come in from top and mid as well. Right there, that tower is very low. We just need someone to poke that. Kosups just need another strike or two on that tower, and it will go down. Again, the minions are doing the job as well for us. And we know we could go back. It would be safer, but this game is pretty much over. We just need to finish this off. I'm trying to catch people with Taric stun, not really getting them right now. Fallen Asylum's taking a good deal of damage. But here comes all the minions. You can see them flooding in on all sides here. And that's going to make it very difficult for the enemy team. And at this point, we're just like, well, we could try to finish it off, but let's just, better safe than sorry. We'll go ahead and take their red, take their blow, and not try to finish this right now. The enemy team's not going to be able to come out of their base because of all the super minions. So we're just going to back off and play things the safer route. We were hoping we could just finish the game right there. Wasn't quite safe. Their whole team's up. So, whatever. We'll just go back and buy. We'll take Baron when it respawns because it's about to respawn. And then we'll just try to finish the game off from there. No reason to take any kind of risks right there. Anyway, there's the lightning field. And I'm not sure what... Let's see, I'm not sure what Varus is trying to farm up here. Maybe he's trying to get a BF sword for a Bloodthirster. That would make sense. Looks like he's just going to hang out and keep farming for the moment. So anyway, had a chance to go back and buy, had the chance to heal, and now we just need to push. Shyvana saying, what do you think we should buy? At this point, I'm not really sure. Probably some more armor and MR because I'm not really a fan of this Shyvana build. It's just all health. There's no armor and MR on this build at all. It got up to 152, 112, so I guess that's okay. But it feels like too much health to me on that build. Not enough magic resist in particular against this team. Wit's End, something like Wit's End probably would have been better on that build. Anyway, though, so see the super minions were able to get one of the towers. Again, when all three inhibs are down, it just makes it so difficult. So we could have gone and done Baron. Instead, we're just going to follow the minions in. Speaker is advancing a little bit in front of the team. Taric is out of position. We can finish off Taric right there. Kosup's going to get the kill with auto attack. That was a little bit too far forward for Taric right here. Let's see, going to use that stun on Nautilus. Probably should have used it on to Draven or Karthus instead. Varus taking a lot of damage right here and going to get finished off by Karthus ult. Did manage to pick off another kill before that. Can see how much damage we're all taking right here. A little bit too much diving. I'm going to use my Taric exhaust onto Fallen Asylum. That's going to cut his damage output basically to nil. Going to allow us to burst him down. Meanwhile, super minions are finishing off the base. Still this fight going on. Just Kennen and Nautilus up right now. And there's really not a whole lot they can do. That inhib, which had respawned, goes down again. And look at all these minions. So many minions. So many minions in the base. And so we are not going to finish off the Nexus. The minions are going to finish off the Nexus. Raid boss slain. You see that the Draven player, Fallen Asylum, typed raid boss slain when Varus went down. Anyway, so we'll finish this one off. Let's get to the stats. Well, there we go. You can see how everyone finished up in this particular match. I think that this was a decent example of how to play Jace. I know that Varus had never played Jace before this game either, and is far from an expert on playing this particular champion, not that anyone is at this early date, so some of this might prove to be bad advice in the long run when people have the chance to play him more. But for some sort of first impressions on sort of how to play this guy, hopefully this will be helpful to different people. I think that this was a pretty well played game. Varys did a really nice job of dodging some of those ganks in top lane. He really did get camped early on by the Kennen Nautilus combination on the enemy team, but did a good job of dodging that and surviving not every one of those, but a reasonable amount of those, and just continuing to farm and just get ahead of Kennen, which made things much easier. So anyway, pretty solidly gameplay, a pretty well played game all around. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if I have trouble commentating on Jayce sometimes because I don't know all the skills, it's again because he's new, and honestly I don't really know exactly what he does either at this point in time. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Alright, not going to keep this going any longer. Once again, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a great week, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.